Hey yo, welcome back. In this video, we'll learn some quite interesting stuff. And with interesting, I'm referring to layer masking and some tutorials about eraser tool. So, there will be a lot of times where you'll be importing images into your canvas or editing some old designs. In either cases, you will need to erase or remove some part of that image. And for that, we'll need to use eraser tool and all layer masks. Both of these techniques removes the pixels you see, but the eraser tool does it more destructively, while the layer mask just masks those unwanted pixels and can be unmasked later if you change your mind. So, as long as it is possible, always avoid destructive changes. In other words, use layer mask more often than eraser tool. Let's begin at the very basic. Suppose you want to remove the slight grayish background from left side of the canvas and want complete white background like the one on the right side of the canvas. Now the boat and the grayish background is a single layer. We can say this because if I toggle the visibility of the layer, that is boat 2 layer, both the boat and the background disappears and we can see the white background below it. So now I'm going to select the magnetic lasso tool from the toolbar and going to create a selection around the boat. Now with the selection done, make sure we have the boat tool layer active. Now go to the main menu, select and click inverse. This will inverse the selection you made, which means selection will be around the rest of the things you didn't select while you were making your selection. That is background without the boat. You can also do it by hotkeys, that is Ctrl Shift I. Now press backspace. With this, the grayish background is gone. So we have destructively removed a part of the image by creating a selection around it, or maybe inversing the selection, whatever. Ctrl D to deactivate the selection. Now there's no background to the boat 2 layer and image is on a transparent layer. Now to be on a safer side, press Ctrl Alt Z to keep undoing until you get back the boat's background. If we hadn't inversed the selection, we could have got the grayish background with the boat shaped hole in it. But I think everybody is smart and creative enough to figure that out. So, to summarize, what we did is make a selection with the marquee tools. Other tools can also be used to do the same. Then we inversed the selection and ultimately pressed backspace to delete those pixels which were bothering us. Now there is another method which we can use to destroy those pesky little pixels, and that's called eraser tool, as the name of the video suggests. You can find this tool in the middle of the toolbar. You can always use the hotkey E to activate the eraser tool. Now in the previous video of this series, we have talked about the brush tool. The eraser tool works exactly like the brush tool. So all the tips and tricks, all the presets and customizations, all the strokes and effect, and everything else that applies to the brush tool also applies to the eraser tool. The only difference is that the brush tool makes some strokes and the eraser tool unmakes it. Now here, let's say we want to feather the background around the boat 2 image. Now press E to activate the eraser tool. Go to the control panel and click on the brush presets toggle and select the feather brush. That's the soft rounded one, and keep the size of the brush to 400 pixel. The opacity of the eraser should be at 100% if you haven't touched it in the past. Now remove the background around the left boat. This is what happens when you use the eraser tool. You may change the size of the brush preset to very small to erase more accurately, but once the file is closed or the history is lost, there is no coming back. Now let's move to our next technique, the layer mask. So scroll to the right. Here you see our boat 1 layer, and it seems that it is already cut out from the grayish background. But apart from this, if you see the layer tab in the layers panel, you will notice that we have another thumbnail which looks like a black layer with a small white boat shape cut in the same tab as our boat 1 layer. Now let's begin. First of all, right click on the layer mask thumbnail and click disable layer mask. This will put a cross over the thumbnail which indicates that it disables any effect it created over the canvas, and hence you can see now the grayish background behind the right hand side boat. And if you click back again on the mask thumbnail, the background is gone, means the effect is enabled now. In this technique, we are not destroying any pixel data, so you would be able to change or apply more design ideas if you desire so. So, Let's see how we can create a mask. For this, first of all, right click on the layer thumbnail and click delete layer mask. This will remove the layer mask, revealing the background pixels. Now I'll create a selection around the board so that I can later use this selection to change the background color to transparency, so the white background below can be visible. I'll use the magnetic lasso tool for this. Once the selection is done, make sure you have the correct layer selected where you want to create your mask. If everything is in order, click on the Add Layer Mask button available on the bottom of the Layers panel. It's third from the left. Click once on the button. Upon click, the mask will hide all the pixels of the layer, creating a transparency except the board which was selected. Now upon closer look at the layer mask thumbnail in the layers panel, you can see black background with white board. The layer masks work only between shades of black and white. Black means hidden and white means revealed. So that's why the visible board is in white on the thumbnail and rest of the hidden background is in black. Now if you hold Alt and click on the layer thumbnail, you will see how the mask looks exactly. If you had enough of the mask, simply click back on the image thumbnail on the layers panel. Now let's have a look at how differently we can play around this mask. And for this you will need the properties panel. In case you don't see it, go to Windows, then click Properties. First of all, have the layer mask selected. Now here the first thing you see is density. This is similar to opacity. Move the slider and we can see how the opacity, or in this case density, of the layer mask changes. The next is feather. Move it to see it. Then we have color range. We can use this option to reveal only a certain color we desire. You can pick the color with the help of the eyedropper tool. Click cancel again. And finally, invert. We can use this option to invert the mask. So we have the board hidden instead of the background. So this is the properties panel. Play around with it. You might discover a few more things than what I said. Moving on, we can also edit a layer mask with the brush tool. For that, you need to have the layer mask selected. Now, you have two thumbnails for a single layer in the layers panel to work with. So remember to select the right thumbnail before you start your work on any one of those. And one more thing, black is invisible and white is visible. Now, activate the brush tool by pressing B on your keyboard. Choose the right brush preset from the control panel. Choose black or white or any of the 50 shades of grey to work with the layer mask. Now I'll select black to work on the board. Now upon click on the board image, you can see the parts of the board is getting deleted. More appropriately, getting hidden. This is because I am using black color over the mask, so hiding that part of the layer in the canvas. Now press X to swap the foreground and background colors. Now we have white selected. Go on and reveal the hidden part of the board. Now in case you don't get the white color on foreground background swap, then choose it. Now you can also use another conventional brush preset to reveal some part of the background to create a nice effect around the image. Press X again to swap the background and foreground color to hide the unwanted effect we created. This way you can make and unmake beautiful changes to a canvas with undestructive manner. Photoshop also have some other tools to create a mask, like pen tool or brush tool. These will require further mastery over Photoshop to make and create very accurate masks over an image. Now this is all for this video. Practice more with eraser and brush tool and mask and unmask different images to get better hold of the feature. See you in the next video.